Hey everybody, today on Henry's HowTos, I'm going to show you how to build a floating tap water feature, which is one of these. Let's get straight into it. Alright guys, so what I've got here is just an ordinary garden pot. So I've just picked one out that actually looks nice. So you can use whatever pot you like. Now do bear in mind there is a hole in the middle, so we do have to seal this, that's very important. If you don't, the water's going to come out, and obviously we don't want that. So guys, before we do that, we also have to put a pump in here. I'm just using a small water feature pump which will go right about here in the middle. Try and get it as center as perfect because our faucet will be in the center as well, like that. So guys, the first thing we're going to do is obviously we need to pull this wire out of the pot. So all you need to do is make a small hole around here somewhere at the bottom. I'm just going to use a small knife because it's just plastic. So if we just go through with a knife like that, it'll create a hole straight away. So guys, as you can see, the hole's right here at the bottom. So get rid of all that excess plastic just to have a clean job. So guys, now with our plug, all I'm going to do is cut the plug off. So leave just a little bit of leverage, just say about that much, and we'll cut it straight from here. If you put it with the plug, you're going to have to make a bigger hole, then you have to seal a bigger hole. You're just creating a headache for yourself. So now with our cut plug, we'll just feed it through this hole, and it should be nice and snug. So it'll just come through just like that. So guys, what we're going to do now is flip our pot over. Reason being, we need to cover this hole with some masking tape. Make sure you give it a good coverage so none of the sealer comes through. If you buy a pot that doesn't have a hole in the middle, then your job is just easier. So flip it back over, and guys, we just need to use a silicone sealant to seal the holes. In my case, I'm using a Selly's roof and gutter one, which is obviously for high pressure. This is also a speed seal, so in about an hour, it's not all the way set, but good enough to work with. So we'll add some sealant right on the bottom. And make sure you go all the way around it. Be liberal. Last thing we need is water leaking through this. Just like so. Now guys, if you want, when this dries, put another coat on. You can be even safer like that. Now while that hole's done, we need to also put some silicone around this hole we made for our plug. So we'll just go right around this as well. I'll just try to do a neater job on the outside since you can actually see that. Just like so. So guys, what we're going to do now is wait for this to dry. Don't rush it, take your time with this because the last thing we need is leakage. Okay guys, so 2 hours have passed. I've just put another coat of seal on as well. Now, I'm doing this because I'm going to place this water feature inside my restaurant. So the last thing I want is leaking water inside because that's going to be a big problem. So we'll let that set. In the meantime guys, what you need to do is source yourself acrylic clear pipes like this. Now, here in Australia, for some reason these were impossible to find, so I had to order them off eBay. I know for a fact if you're living in America, these are everywhere since nobody has a problem buying them there. Other parts of the world, guys, go ahead, check home improvement stores, contact plastic suppliers as well, plastic fabrication places, they should be able to help you. It's basically just clear acrylic pipe. And it should be about the same size so that it can fit into your pump like that, nice and snug. So we'll continue this once the silicone dries up. So guys, in my case, I've cut my acrylic pipe to about 35 to 40 centimeters. Now, once I place that into my pump, and I put our faucet on it, it's only going to stick out about 20 centimeters above our actual pot. So you don't really want to go more than that. You need to bear in mind that pumps are based on how high the actual water goes. If you go too high, this isn't going to work properly. You need pressure. So guys, that being the case, cut your pipe accordingly. So guys, acrylic pipes are very easy to cut. Just get a sharp knife and you just want to cut along. once it's gone through that much, just gently snap it like that, and it will come straight off like that, and you got a nice clean cut. So that's ready. So guys, what I'm going to do now is fill up an actual pot with decorative pebbles and rocks like this. Now there's a number of reasons for this. Obviously we want to make it look nice, of course. Number two, if we put enough pressure around the pump itself, it won't move or buckle. So this part is important. So just fill it up. You can use any sort of rocks, pebbles, stones that you like. And you want to make sure to build around your pump, so your pump is nice and secure. So we'll place our pipe into our pump. And just keep on filling it. So guys, that should do. So guys, we're going to work on the electrics now. Now if you've never done this before, don't get worried. I was working on wirings when I was like 6 years old, to be honest. It's pretty straightforward. I know every country is different. But obviously first we need to strip the insulation. So just using a pair of pliers, if not you can use wire strippers. Just strip away at the insulation. So guys, it should reveal two wires. So we've got blue here, which is similar to black, which is negative or neutral. And the brown is positive or live, which is also red. Now this side strip, we also have to strip the side that's on the plug. Just like so. So now we need to strip just a little bit of the actual wire insulation to reveal about 1 centimeter of the copper. So do this on both sides, the plug and the actual pump side as well. So guys, blue and blue, put it together, and we just want to twist it like that. And the same with our positive, and twist that together. Now what we need to do is just coil that over the insulation like that. So we just need to take a bit of electrical tape and just wrap it nice and snugly around our wiring there. And we'll repeat the same on the other side. Now we'll just put some Teflon tape all around our wiring, just to give it another layer of insulation. And make sure any exposed parts like that, you wrap it around that too. Just like so. So guys, our plug's ready now. So what we're going to do now is just plug our pump in and make sure it works. And you can hear that noise, hopefully you can hear it in the video. Obviously it's working. So unplug it. And what we're going to do now is start to fill up our pot with water. And now very importantly guys, check around your pot, make sure there's no leaks. If there's any leaks, empty out the water and give it more time. Like I did say, I am using a speed seal which sets very quickly. If you're using a very basic one, some of them need up to 72 hours to cure. So you don't want to do all this work and ruin it. If it's leaking, take the water out. So guys, what we're going to do now is get our faucet. Now very important, make sure this is off. So turn it all the way clockwise. Because if it's on, remember the water's coming through here, it's going to come out of here and it's going to create a mess. We don't want that. Now this hole, simple. Place it straight onto our pipe like that and it's done. So now we're going to go ahead and turn it on and see how it looks. And just look at that guys, how cool does that look? See, to the naked eye, you'd think, where is that water coming from? Now, personally, I've built three of these, which I'll show you just now. And I get more customers asking about that than they ask about how I learned how to cook. So it is very interesting. Now, I first saw these when I was about 6 years old here in Australia, in Bunnings, which is like a home improvement store, like a warehouse. Until this, about a year ago, I was thinking, how did they do it? So finally I learned. And I don't regret it for a second. It's got to be the coolest thing I've ever made. Now the only issue you'll really run into making one of these is how to actually position the faucet to make it look the best. Because if you move it around, as you can see, it will lose its position. So like this, I find is perfect. Once you push down on it, it will stay like that unless somebody touches it. And guys, that's all there is to it. So guys, what I have here is the first one of these that I made. So as you can see, this one is a bit larger. And the pump in this is a much bigger one. So it's much higher pressure. So I've made this one actually taller. And that's a bigger faucet as well, as you can see. And then I'll show you the other one. So this one's in 2 parts. As you can see, it's 2 pots. There's a bigger one down here, and a normal one here. And that's the whole faucet system there. So the water fills up in here. Then from this faucet comes into here. And the pump is just in there. And it goes through the back. So the one mistake I made with this one is I put a small pump, so this one here doesn't make that much noise compared to here. I hope you like that, guys. Please like and subscribe. If you've got any comments or suggestions, just leave them at the bottom, and I'll see you all next time.